welcome to this review of my Epomaker Magcore87 keyboard. This was a donation from Epomaker themselves, who have this habit of sending me cool and funky shit, this time a keyboard that works using induction no less. Obviously, I'd never pass up an opportunity to look at something innovative and interesting like this, so I happily agreed to review it. Like virtually everything related to keyboard switch technology, inductive switches are not exactly a new thing, even though it hasn't been used in decades. I've shown it before on the channel, for example on this Model M keyboard I reviewed ages ago. The idea is pretty much the same between the two keyboards, though the execution is a bit different. If you're interested, you can watch that review, and I also did a teardown video recently where I show in great detail how these modern inductive switches work, so I'm going to skip the technical details in this video and refer you to that video instead. So inductive switches are one of the two technologies that are currently emerging to try and take the place of the Hall effect as the new leading high-performance switch technology, the other being tunnel magnetoresistance, which is based on quantum tunneling. I've also covered that one recently. It's crazy to think I'd ever be pointing out that Hall effect is actually getting surpassed now, but the innovation is very welcomed. Cool new switch technologies are one of the things I enjoy most about the hobby, so I'm very curious to see what's going to happen in the next few years. So induction, that is to say eddy current sensing, has several advantages over Hall effect switches, including lower power consumption, higher resistance to environmental conditions, and higher resolution. This one has a travel resolution of 0.01 mm per step, which is quite precise. This means it can differentiate 10 times smaller step than most Hall effect keyboards, which work in 0.1 mm increments. I've commented before on how relevant this difference is in practice. Personally, I can't detect it, but to some this may be worth it. And of course there's the gaming tricks like DKS, Rappy, Tappy, Snappy, Fappy, and all the jazz and jizz. Naturally, they also have the advantages of other contactless switches, such as extremely high durability, polling rate, and unmatched smoothness. I often use the Wooting 2 as a benchmark nowadays, though most Hall effect keyboards have the same level of god-tier smoothness. In reality, at some point there is so little friction that you can't really feel much difference between switches anymore. The Magcore's inductive switches are definitely on the same par as the Wootings, though it feels more lubed than the Wooting, as well as a bit stiffer, and there is noticeably less wobble as well. These are extremely steady, they barely move at all compared to the Wooting. Look at that. So for all of you who go crazy for stability, this alone may be worth checking the board out for. Naturally, the board comes equipped with adjustable actuation. Personally, I feel that if you make an analog board but don't have this implemented, you really don't understand the point of what you're trying to do, though most companies now do offer this as a standard. This is super nice because it allows you to have very nice light switches with an effortless typing feel while not having them actuate earlier than you intend. I'm a huge fan of this in linear keyboards. It's definitely the way to go. You can set the actuation depth as well as the lighting, rebinding, any key or macro, etc. in the software. It's a custom widget, presumably another Electron app. It's good, very intuitive and light on the memory, and for once it's actually in English rather than Chinese. Like I said, the switch feels a little bit more heavily weighted than most other contactless switches, though it's still pretty lightweight overall, I think. That said, it's got that distinct buttery feel of a switch that's been lubed a lot, so it doesn't have the same effortless, cloudy typing feel, so to speak, of when a switch has little or no lubricant in it, but it's very smooth regardless. The keyboard itself is built pretty well, with a weight of over 1.8 kilos, or in imperial units.
Dude, you get the best barrels ever, dude. Just like you pull in and you just get spit right out of them. And you just drop in and just smack the lip. Whoop-ah!
The housing is machined aluminium and it feels pretty sturdy really. The switches are unlikely to develop a fault either, so that's good. There's foam in here too and an FR4 plate. This gives a thick but plasticky typing sound. It's honestly not bad for a contactless keyboard though. I reckon you guys will like it. Note that these switches are completely different from Hall effect and TMR switches and not even magnetic in function. They use this aluminium spike instead of a magnet in the slider, so this is completely incompatible with Hall effect and TMR boards. You need a special PCB for them. That said, the board itself is hot swappable, so you can replace faulty switches easily, if that ever happens. Styling wise, it's kind of a duality, like this with the transparent keycaps on and the backlight, which is pretty bright and quite good actually, with good bundling and clarity. It's a nice and colourful option, but with the backlight off and the more standard keycaps on, it's a surprisingly conservative look. Small bezels, enclosed case design, simple white on black lettering with cherry look-alike font located in the top left. This is definitely capable of that classic look if that's what you're after. The keycaps are double-shot PBT and the transparent ones almost certainly ABS. The printing quality is okay, not perfect, but the imperfections are small enough that you have to look for them to notice them. Cheap double-shot keycaps usually have very inconsistent lettering thickness, especially on the smaller letters, and while that's still a little bit the case here, it's not too blatant, at least on this exact keyboard. It's not bad really. One thing I should note is that this left shift gave me issues at first where it kept getting stuck in the down position. I reseated the keycap a couple of times and with some use it's working fine now, but I figured I should mention that. It's almost certainly a stabilizer issue, but then again, stabilizers I think are one of the least interesting things in the observable universe, so I'm gonna leave you to consider that. Currently, it's only available as this TKL model. Thank fuck it's not yet another one of those 75% I keep getting sent, although they are also working on a 65% model of this, it seems. The price is $200, apparently in pre-order. Now, this was on par with other contactless boards at some point, though that price is rapidly falling nowadays. Note that certainly not all contactless boards have metal cases though. I feel like the board performs well, but I can't truly say whether the inductive switches are a massive performance upgrade over Hall effect ones. Like I said, in practice they should be better, but it's difficult to gauge something like that considering how high performance HE is already. I think Inductive definitely works and is worth companies pursuing this avenue, but if I already had a very nice metal case Hall effect board that served me well, I'm not sure I would fork over another 200 dead presidents for the difference in gaming performance. That said, these switches are undeniably cool in my opinion. That's it for this review. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and following is a typing demonstration of me typing on this keyboard.